Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Now today we're going to be taking a look at the European Le Mans Series Pack 2 DLC for Le Mans Ultimate. Now the absolute legends at Le Mans Ultimate have given me access a little bit early and I've been having a bit of a tinker. And there's a couple of things in this latest build that excite me more than the content. Now firstly, let's talk about price. So this DLC is going to cost you £8.99, €9.99 or $11.99. And for that, you're going to get two brand new pieces of content. You're going to get Circuit Paul Ricard, and you're going to get the Ginetta G61 LT P325 Evo. I'm just going to call it the Ginetta. So what we're going to do first, I'm going to take you out on track at Paul Ricard in the Ginetta. We're going to do a nice slow lap so you get a good look at the circuit, and then I'll show you a flying lap on board, then I'll show you a flying lap from one of the broadcast cameras. And after that, I'm going to talk about what I think is more important and why Le Mans Ultimate are leading the way. Okay, Circuit Paul Ricard, Ginetta LMP3. Let's have a listen first of all. Pretty generic sound. Nothing too spectacular there. Right, we'll do a slow lap first of all, just to give you a look at the circuit. We'll try and appreciate how good it looks, because it does look stunning. That's one thing LMU does probably better than anybody else, is the circuits and the detail. They all look absolutely stunning, they really do. And I'm running this triple 4K and it's running really well. Admittedly, I am on my own on track, so I might need to change my graphic settings to get a few more frames when I'm playing online. But I did some testing with the AI earlier on. It didn't seem too bad. But I am recording at 1440 instead of 4K. I have noticed a bit of a difference. So, about 1 million different configurations to this track in real life. Well, slight exaggeration. But there are many, many configurations. We've only got one at the moment. I'm sure more will come. And you can see all these painted areas off the circuit. That can be quite confusing from time to time. It reminds me a bit of Kota. But it looks good. Looks really good. And there's a couple of turns on the circuit that look pretty similar to other turns, so it's easy to get confused, especially for me and my tiny little brain. And then here we are going on to the big long back straight. See how long it is there? We're going to be taking a left before we get to the end of the straight. And there's a chicane there that reminds me of one of the chicanes on the Mulsanne at Le Mans. The way you exit it, at least. But imagine the layout without the chicane. It'll be fast down here. But there are quite a few overtaking opportunities here at Paul Ricard, which is good. Should be a good circuit for racing. This is the chicane, the way you exit it reminds me of Le Mans. But yeah, circuit looks tremendous, looks really good, and performance is really good, so top work, top work. Really fast right-hander here in cars with downforce. You probably won't have to lift, or if you do, it won't be for long. And then we've got a really, really long right which tightens, and then into some left-handers that also tighten, that will catch a couple of people out, no doubt. You're going to be very, very patient. Coming towards the end of the lap now. And then there's a really tight right to finish off the lap. And that's a lap of Paul Ricard. Right, I'll get a couple of laps into the tyres, and then we'll do a push lap. It won't be particularly quick, but we'll come back in a moment. Right. See what it's like over the lap. See if we can beat our PB there. Really tricky first corner there, you can't see it. Nice, better. Another tricky section here because we're braking all the way around here, staying on the brakes. And then a tricky right. Much better. And onto the back straight. We're well up here. Braking just about the 100. Just before. Trying to get a good exit. And then coming up to this fast right. It's going to be lifting slightly. Just like a partial lift. And trying to spot this apex. And then trail braking all the way around there. Just trying to maximise the exit. And it's the first of a couple of really tricky left-handers. This one's super long. It tightens up on itself quite a lot. We're going for the second. Much tighter, much later apex this one. You should need the car right up to the left to open up this right. Messed that up a little bit there, but it's alright. So there we go. That's a lap of circuit Paul Ricard in the Ginetta LMP3. Right, I'll show you the lap from an external point of view so you can have a proper listen. A 2013. Obviously go much quicker than that. I'm no prototype expert, but it's quite nice to drive. I do like it. So that's the content. Two pieces of content. The Ginetta LMP3 drives really nice, just drives like any other LMP3. And Paul Ricard, absolutely beautiful. Now, onto the things that matter to me and have been a bit of a gripe of mine with Le Mans Ultimate. Firstly, wet weather. Historically, driving in the rain on Le Mans Ultimate hasn't really been much of a challenge. Just the grip has been reduced slightly. But now Le Mans Ultimate have made some changes and the dry line and the wet line are now a thing. I did some testing in the Mercedes GT3 Silverstone on the old build. And then I jumped on the new build and did exactly the same with the same conditions. Honestly, it was like night and day. Now, driving in the rain on LMU is a real challenge. And I can confirm that braking off the traditional rubbered racing line is more effective in the wet. So that's one huge thumbs up from me. So secondly, Le Mans Ultimate is now going to be using easy anti-cheat. So fingers crossed, cheating on Le Mans Ultimate is going to be a thing of the past. Now, thirdly, and most important for me in this build, Le Mans Ultimate are now introducing badges for drivers. And these badges are going to be visible to everybody else you're racing with. So it will give you a good idea of what that driver's like. So the badges are rookie when you first join. Then we've got probation, warning, good driver, trusted driver, real driver, content creator. But if your standard of driving falls below what's required, then you'll automatically get banned if you don't improve. So if you're one of those drivers that keeps getting involved in wrecks, takes people out, well, it's going to automatically ban you. And if you don't improve, then the bans just get longer and longer and longer until you're permanently banned. Now, you've got to do 10 races on Le Mans Ultimate to be awarded a badge. And how you've behaved in those 10 races will determine what badge you get. And on the rookie series, Le Mans Ultimate have said that they may be going to do the matchmaking via the badges rather than the traditional safety racing or driver ranking. So if you're one of those trusted drivers, there's a good chance you're going to be put in a race with other trusted drivers. Sounds perfect. And it looks like LMU are going to be utilising AI because they've got a thing called Live Steward, and that's going to automatically detect what's going on, dish out penalties for dodgy rejoins, intentional wrecks, that kind of thing. And also now, instead of getting a drive-through for a misdemeanor on track, you're now going to get a time penalty, which can be added to the end of the race. So the races won't necessarily be ruined because of a penalty. You'll just be penalised after the race, which is great. The tyre models had a bit of an overhaul. I did a few laps earlier on in the Ford Mustang at Imola, and it felt absolutely fantastic. And in my opinion, this is how it should be done. Le Mans Ultimate are listening to us, sim racers, what's important to us. And they've obviously realised that the driving standards on Le Mans Ultimate haven't been the best. And that's a genuine concern for the most of us. So they're tackling it head on. Some people might not like it, but those probably are going to be the people that cause chaos. So there's been loads of other updates. The actual wheel rim now transfers heat from the disc to the tyre. Loads and loads of stuff. You're going to have to read the release notes. But it's an absolutely incredible build. Yep, a bit light on content, but there's so much other stuff going on. So what about the build are you most excited about? Let me know in the comments down below. Massive thank you again to Le Mans Ultimate for giving me access a little bit early. But as always, thanks for watching. Have a great week. See you later. Cheers.